Yeah, everybody turn to page two. Okay, so this coming your main exam, midterm exam, one of the question will be chapter six. It might be 10 or 20 marks. 10 marks will be structural, then 20 marks will be the essay. So now we're going to build a very good basic, and then going to do some latest government exam. So they hope that this type of question coming out in the coming exam. So first important thing that you need to know is the solubility. Okay, the whole short chapter is related to solubility. Okay, so you start with the first one. First, anything with sodium, potassium, ammonium nitrate means anything with NaK, NH4, and NO3 will be soluble. How do you remember? You remember this SPAN, soluble. Okay, so you write down for me this one. SPAN, soluble. Anything with sodium, potassium, ammonium nitrate will be soluble. Okay, anything with sodium, potassium, ammonium nitrate will be soluble. Okay. Then after that, anything with carbonate, oxide, and hydroxide will be insoluble. So we use COH. So anything with carbonate, oxide, hydroxide will be insoluble. Okay, except spa. Okay, what does it mean? You see, let's say below I got a table here to make sure you know this thing. That anything with sodium, potassium, and then where is my ammonium? Ammonium is here. Okay. Then after that, and nitrate will be all soluble. So anything with these three, no matter who they pair with, will be soluble. This is very important because many things in the short chapter is related to solubility. Okay, we will make the decision based on they are soluble in water or not. So anything with sodium, potassium, ammonium nitrate, SPAN, will be all soluble. Okay, how many tick? Anything with this four, NaK, NH4, and NO3, SPN, sodium, potassium, ammonium nitrate will be soluble. Anything with carbonate, oxide, and hydroxide will be insoluble except the spa. Because spa confirms soluble, but the rest that with carbonate will be insoluble. Because we only have 2 hours, so we'll do the latest government question. Hope that will come out. At the same time, because they actually test a few parts only, so means we try to make sure these few parts you are good, should be all right. Right? So SPA will be the sodium, and A log sodium is Na, then K is potassium, then after that ammonium is nitrate, ammonium is NH4 minus, then the N will be the nitrate. Everything about short chapter is related to this part. Means they're going to test you very detailed on this part. They will use different method to test you. Okay, so anything with SPAN, sodium, potassium, ammonium nitrate will be soluble. Then anything is carbonate, oxide, and hydroxide, then you know that it's insoluble. Okay, then after that, this one you must be very good because later everything is related to this part. Okay, then you'll come to this chloride and sulfate. See, chloride and sulfate, right? All soluble except this one, the PbCl, AgCl, HgCl is not soluble. Then SO4 all soluble except PbSO4, BaSO4, CaSO4 not soluble. So how do you remember this? I believe your school teacher also teach you with you. Pb, Ag not and Hg, right, is persatuan agama Hindu. Okay. Then after that, for the sulfate, who is not soluble? Persatuan bahasa Cina. It so means uh for SO4 all soluble except Persatuan Bahasa Cina. Cina is calcium. You just remember the for the sulfate is soup. Then for the Cl, you remember curry. So curry is Persatuan Agama Hindu. Then SO4 is soup is Persatuan Bahasa Cina. So for soup is Persatuan Bahasa Cina. For curry Cl is Persatuan Agama Hindu not soluble. So these two is the one that always come in the exam. So you can find the answer here. Lor. Who is not soluble for the SO4 soup is Persatuan Bahasa Cina. Okay. Then for the correct Kari is Persatuan Agama Hindu. Okay. Only these three not soluble. Okay. The rest soluble. Yeah, so this is the first basic that you must be very good because later a lot of question will all depends on this. Okay, so after this part, right, then I will give you a question. Okay, I will give you a question to try to see how the question coming up. One of the question lah. Okay, so you done this already? Okay, done this already. Can everybody turn to page 17? Page 17 ah. Okay, now this is one of the questions that tests you solubility. Okay, so you said we will do some revision again. Okay, anything with SPAN will be soluble. Anything with COOH will be insoluble. So for chloride, all soluble except Persatuan Agama Hindu, not soluble. Then sulfate except Persatuan Bahasa Cina, not soluble. The rest soluble. Okay, so who is your spa? So this is the Na, then potassium, ammonium, nitrate. Then this is carbonate, oxide, hydroxide. Okay. So now they give you two salts. Okay, they give you two salts. One is zinc nitrate, one is zinc carbonate. Okay, so you say write down the formula. Zinc nitrate and zinc carbonate. Okay, based on this, anything with nitrate will be soluble. Okay, anything with nitrate will be soluble. Then anything with carbonate will be insoluble unless they pair with spark. So in this case, this is soluble. This is insoluble. These are all the sample question from the latest last year question. Okay, then after that, they have additional 4 marks and ask you, how do you separate a soluble salt and insoluble salt? First, add a bit of distilled water. Okay, add a bit of distilled water into this mixture. Then after that, stir with glass straw. After that, right, this will be soluble. The soluble one will become solution. The insoluble one will remain as solid. Will remain as solid. Then after that, we will filter the mixture. So when you filter the mixture, this is what you're going to see. The solid above will be the zinc carbonate. Then the liquid below will be the zinc nitrate. Huh? So you rinse means you wash the residue. Okay, so here we separate them. So what I get now is I will get an insoluble salt here. Okay, this will be my residue, is zinc carbonate solid. Then the solution here is my zinc nitrate. So whether you do you need to take out the zinc nitrate as a solid, then you will need to do the heat cool filter rinse and dry. But here they didn't mention that they want two separate solid. So all you need to do just to separate these two chemical is enough. Because you only got 6 marks here. Yeah, so now I separate into two different chemical, which the residue is pure zinc carbonate, and then the solution is pure zinc nitrate. I think it's one of the sample question that ask you about the solubility. So they might come up with a very simple question from here. Yeah, so then yeah. Okay, so this is the first part. Okay, they'll ask you. Well done, yeah. Okay, so then after that, we'll move on to the second part. Okay. Once you understand about this, right, then we will discuss about prepare salt, because one of the high chance page 8 high chance prepare salt the one of the high chance describe experiment is prepare salt. So I go through the step. But anyway, now I only like practice one of the question with you because today we need to cover many different things, right? So for prepare salt, right? If you need to prepare a insoluble salt, okay. So we know insoluble salt is cannot dissolve in water. So you see, this is SPAN is soluble. Then COOH is insoluble. Okay, so the concept is very simple. In order to prepare a insoluble salt, okay, we will use soluble salt to help. We'll use soluble salt to help. The reason is because soluble and insoluble can be separated. As you can see just now, how do I separate a soluble salt and insoluble salt? I can use filter to separate. So in order to prepare an insoluble salt, we need to use soluble salt to prepare. So example, let's say example now, I need to prepare a barium sulfate. Then what do I need? I will ask you to suggest SPAN, no? Because SPAN is something soluble, something soluble. So the first one, in order to prepare this, first one you will need, let's say example, this side will be the barium sulfate nitrate. So you can see here, we use barium nitrate. Okay, barium nitrate. Then after that, on the other side, we will use the sodium potassium ammonium sulfate. Okay, sodium potassium ammonium sulfate. So here is the sodium potassium ammonium sulfate. Okay, so let's say example, I use the first one as an explanation. The concept is very simple. That in order to prepare this chemical, all we need to do is just sodium sulfate is something soluble. Something soluble means this is Na, this is SO4, 2 minus. Okay, Na SO4 2 minus something soluble means the ion is free moving ion in the water. Okay, the other side is my barium nitrate. So you try to understand the concept. Yeah, so you see, when I take a sodium sulfate solution, it is a solution, means it's soluble. So the ion are free moving ion in the solution, in the water. Then barium nitrate also something soluble. So when you pour these two things together, see how you pour them inside. After you pour them inside, right? Okay, let's say make a bigger, okay, like this. So these two ions will pour into another solution. So technically, these four ions will be what we call the mix together. No? So when mixed together, we know that barium and sulfate is insoluble. So these two ions, they'll meet each other to form insoluble salts, while my sodium nitrate are soluble. So you can see here will become barium sulfate, which is insoluble, plus the sodium nitrate, which is soluble. Okay, so in this case, after that, to get my salt, right? So very simple now, just like what we showed us up, you filter. So once you filter, you get your barium sulfate as a residue. Okay, then after that, below here will be your sodium nitrate solution. Okay, then in this case, we were able to get our barium sulfate because what I want is barium sulfate. Are everybody okay with this concept? It's a very simple concept that okay. So if you really get this question in the exam, okay, if you really get this question, it's a very simple one. Okay, so you look at the diagram and then we discuss about how do you write the procedure for this. Now, first, you need to explain this part. You need to get a beaker with sodium sulfate solution. So how to write? You can see here. I just get a number 25 cm3, 2 mole per dm³ of sodium sulfate solution. Is measured using measuring cylinder and pour into a beaker. So you have this first solution. Then the second solution is the sodium nitrate. So same, 25 cm³ of 2 mole per dm³ of barium chloride or barium. You want the barium chloride also okay. You want barium nitrate also can. Is measured using measuring cylinder and pour into the same beaker. So these two solutions, you mix them together. After you mix them together, you will get your barium sulfate now. So the next step is very simple. You filter. Okay, you filter. The mixture you stir with the glass straw, you will see a white precipitate, the barium sulfate come out. How do you take out this barium sulfate? You filter. After filter, the barium sulfate is on top. You rinse, you wash. Wash already, then you dry. Okay, take this residue, wash already, clean barium sulfate, dry it by pressing it between sheets of filter paper, then you will get this chemical. Okay, so this is the draft steps that you need to write in the exam. Okay, this is a draft step. So let's say, example, if you want a sample, we can look at this sample. Look, everybody go to page 9. Page 9. Okay, so this question is prepare an insoluble salt. So this insoluble salt, right, is the barium chloride. Okay, it's a barium chloride. So this barium chloride that is insoluble. Okay, how I know it's insoluble? First, they tell you it's insoluble. If they didn't tell you it's insoluble, you can check one. You see, so you remember I told you before not? Cl stands for Kari. So all chloride soluble except Persatuan Agama Hindu not soluble. So PbCl memang is not soluble. So in order to prepare insoluble salt, remember I told you before, terbalik, use a soluble salt. So how to use the soluble salt? Use the SPAN. So for the SPAN, the first chemical needed will be PBN. So PBN will be my PB nitrate. Then on the other side, you can use anything with sodium, potassium, ammonium, and chloride. So I use sodium chloride. I use sodium chloride. So same concept. I will put in my barium nitrate. Okay, barium nitrate. Then add it into sodium chloride. Okay, so when these two chemicals, you mix them together, then it become these two are chemical, you mix them together. Okay, PB will meet with the Cl, become insoluble salt. So you get this insoluble salt. Okay, so look at the step, very simple. So I need to prepare the first one now. So you write out 50 CNQ, 1 mole per DNQ of lead 2 nitrate is measured using measuring cylinder and pour into a beaker. Okay, so you get the first step. Okay, this is the first step. Okay, now your second step. That's 50 CNQ, so 1 mole per DNQ of sodium chloride solution is measured using a measuring cylinder and pour into the same beaker. So these two solutions pour together. This one you can write any number. You can write 50, you can write 1, you want to write 100, then 1 also okay. Means this number is, you can just write, but you give it a logic number lah. For a bigger, normally 50, 100, 200 also okay, but don't too big. But cannot too small. Minimum 25, so you just take a 100. This question about 6 marks, very short one. Then after that, when you mix them together, you need to stir with glass straw. Here got one extra mark. Then filter. So once you filter, this PbCl will be on top. So we will filter it to obtain the salt crystal. Then after you get, let's say after you filter, right, the PbCl is here now. Then you need to filter, rinse, and dry. Okay, so about 6 marks from here lah. About 6 marks from here. Later I will straight away do another tougher question, but I give you a theory first on this part. So everybody okay with this? Maybe we can try one question. Let me find one question for here. Prepare insoluble salt. Maybe you can try this page 16. Page 16. Page 16. What's this question? Okay, so okay, but of course, okay, if you look at this question, they're using copper 2 nitrate because they're using a standard solution here, standard solution above. Then they prepare this copper 2 nitrate. Then they add a solution A. Then it form an insoluble salt. And what they ask you is to prepare an insoluble salt. Okay, for salt, right? When they mention salt, for SPM syllabus refer to four different items. Okay, which is first one is nitrate salt, which come from nitric acid, because salt come from acid. Second salt is chloride salt. It come from HCl, okay, hydrochloric acid. Then the third one is what we call the sulfate salt. It come from sulfuric acid. The last one is carbonate salt. Then it come from carbonate ion. Okay, so for this question, quite key, but they say that now a solution A is added to copper. I'm not doing all the basic question because this is all the latest government question for 2023. Okay, so 2024. So now we discuss, because it's the latest question, your school teacher might clone similar question into your exam. So now we try to do all the potential question coming out in your May exam, so that you if you really came out, and then at least you know how to do. So since it's quite tricky because they give you copper 2 nitrate, then they say add this solution A, it form an insoluble salt, So then you need to ask yourself really, CuNO3, CuCl, CuSO4, and Cu carbonate, which one is insoluble? Like, come, anybody know? Because they say they didn't mention who is the insoluble salt. then you need to certainly know who is the insoluble salt. I will teach you just now how to see whether insoluble or soluble. Is it quite obvious only one is qualified for insoluble salt, which is your carbonate? Now, why is carbonate? Anything with SPAN will be soluble. So technically, nitrate is soluble already. Okay, so nitrate is soluble already. Anything with chloride will be soluble except persatuan agama Hindu. So this chloride is soluble because copper 2 chloride is not under persatuan agama Hindu. Okay, then anything with sulfate is soluble except persatuan bahasa. The Cina is Ca because its Cu is Cinu. Okay, so this one also soluble. So technically the insoluble only left this. So means it's an indirect keyword question that although they didn't tell you who is the insoluble salt, you must able to guess who is the insoluble salt, which is the copper 2 carbonate. So what is the method? How do you prepare this? You can write either one of this answer. You can write precipitation method or you can write double decomposition reaction. It's a free marks. To prepare insoluble salt, the reaction called precipitation method to form the precipitate, or you can write double decomposition reaction. Okay. Then here they'll ask you one question. How do you prepare this copper 2 carbonate? Okay, so now I write out the equation. As I told you just now, insoluble salt, you have to use sulfate is soluble, you see. Persatuan Bahasa Cina, which CaSO4 is insoluble, means CuSO4 is soluble. Double decomposition is soluble plus soluble to form insoluble. Means anyway, double decomposition is to prepare what we call the insoluble salt. Whenever you see came out precipitate, this is called precipitation reaction, precipitation method. Hey, wait first, you change this one, precipitation reaction. So it's oh, they say method. Method have to write precipitation method. If they ask for method, need to write precipitation method. Then double decomposition reaction is the reaction name. Okay, so now they ask you how do you prepare this chemical. So what we need is copper 2 salt carbonate. What do I need? I need to pair with SPAN. Okay, so the copper 2 nitrate already given here. So you can see here, you already have copper 2 nitrate, okay, as a solution. Then for the solution A, it must be SPA lah. So this is your solution A. Must be either sodium carbonate, potassium carbonate, or ammonium carbonate. So you can write here lah. Solution A, you want to write sodium carbonate also can, potassium carbonate also can, ammonium carbonate also can. For the sub question, right, there's a chance they ask you to write the procedure, but at the same time, they're quite high. It's higher chance that they're going to come up some question looks something like this to ask you. Okay, then after that, it's quite popular in school exam and a government exam that they always ask you about this. How do you verify whether in a solution there is copper, there's copper 2 ion inside? So you see for the cation test, cation means positive ion. Yeah, quite popular. They ask you about how do you verify the positive ion in this solution? So the positive ion in this solution is Because I scored. The question was so tricky. Let me check. What are the latest government question? It's very, very tricky. Okay, now, yeah. Okay, now I discuss with you. Now I discuss with you. Okay, we do a simple test first. A simple test first. Exam, quite frequent they will ask you about how do you test copper 2 ion. Okay, to verify the copper 2 ion, first, in this solution, what you need to add, add you leave some space in it. We have step one, step two, step three. Okay, so the step one you leave it first. Okay, so add ammonia solution until assess. Okay, add ammonia solution until assess. Okay, so this is one of the tests to test the copper CO2 plus. So we add until assess, right? We look at the question from the add you add more add your drop of ammonia solution. Means at the beginning add a few drop. Then after that, this test you need to memorize. I just memorize the test for the CO2 plus. Very high chance come out one. Means quite frequent the school will come up how to test CO2 plus. It's one of the popular school exam question. So first you add a few drop first. After that, add assess means add a lot. Add a few drop, then add a lot. Then when you add a few drop, you see it coming out some blue precipitate. Okay, you see blue precipitate is formed. Okay, so this is when you add a few drops. Then when you add excess, when you add a lot, okay, when you add a lot, you realize that this blue precipitate, right, it dissolves, no more precipitate. And then it form a dark blue solution. Means this whole solution it will turn into a dark blue solution. The precipitate dissolve in excess ammonia solution to form dark blue solution. Do you know this one? So this is the very important test. SPM past year, school exam past year, you realize that they always like to ask about how to test CO2 plus. So very simple one. First, you add a few drop of ammonia solution. Then you get blue precipitate. Then you add excess ammonia, means add a lot of ammonia. You realize that the precipitate, the solid, it will dissolve in the excess ammonia. Then to form dark blue solution. It's one of the tests you need to memorize. Okay. So for this question, very kebat. Okay. Based on my experience, this very kebat because they got mentioned to you, this is something insoluble. So if this is something insoluble, if you don't do anything, just throw the insoluble inside, you won't able to get all this result because the CO2 plus is trapped in the solid. So you won't able to get what blue precipitate is formed, and then the blue precipitate dissolve in excess ammonia, all these things. Okay, so you weren't able to get this. So first, you need to do something to make this copper 2 carbonate dissolve in water? Can anybody know the answer? Lah? How do you make this copper 2 carbonate dissolve into water? Into the water? There's only one thing, because you see, a copper 2 carbonate is insoluble in water. So you throw it into water, it won't dissolve. So the only way to make the copper 2 carbonate dissolve is what? You need to know the concept. Sodium sulfate also cannot, because it's something, it is something, like, okay, for calcium carbonate, I give you an example. Calcium carbonate is marble. You know marble? Marble is a stone, right? Marble is a stone. You throw that into water, right? It don't dissolve in water. Right? Oh, no. How to make eggshell? Calcium carbonate, one of the example, similar carbonate is eggshell. How do you make eggshell dissolve in water? You put sodium sulfate, sodium chloride, salt, it won't dissolve. Because you do this in the kitchen also. Right? How to make these carbonate things in soluble in water? Then the only friend you can have is acid. Why? Acid can react with four different things. One is metal. Oh, I use the shortcut better because it's very long. Metal, metal carbonate, metal oxide, and metal hydroxide. So in order to let my carbonate dissolve in water, I need to add one acid. This is my step one. Need to add one acid to dissolve. So just like if you don't write step one, step two, step three, 0 mark, because the experiment failed. So in order to let this carbonate dissolve in water, you need to add acid to let it dissolve. Let's say I want the eggshell to dissolve, you pour acid in. Then you see the eggshell will start to dissolve, come out a little bubble. It's a quite a came question. This is the latest question, which is the state paper last year. So normally school, they might come out state paper last year into a school exam because they found, hey, this question very good, then they're chosen to be in your exam paper. This is quite a very challenging question. But I don't like the procedure for how to prepare insoluble salt. That one is too simple. Because this recent years they come up another one, which is harder version. Yeah, so you done it there? Okay, once you're done it, we'll refer to the second steps, second tab, which is everybody turn to page 6. Yeah, everybody turn to page 6. Yeah, you add a few drop only, it actually will come out the precipitate. The reason of coming out is the one is copper 2 hydroxide. Then after that, this copper 2 hydroxide, when you add excess ammonia, it will dissolve. So it's a very popular question. So you just remember that in this coming exam, if you see copper 2 ion, how to test copper 2 ion, you put a few drops of ammonia, you get blue precipitate. Then put assess a lot of the copper 2, a lot of the ammonia, you see it dissolve, form dark blue solution. Okay, so you move on to the second one. Everybody turn to page 6. Because the one that if your school chosen chapter 6 to come out this square experiment, very high chance you'll get one question. So we will do it today to make sure you're okay. That if you really came out, you can score lah. Which is this. Prepare a soluble salt. Now the idea is very simple. If want to prepare insoluble salt, we use soluble because soluble and insoluble can be separated using the filter. So same thing, now if I want to prepare a soluble salt, I have to use insoluble. Yeah, soluble is SPEN. Insoluble is COH. So since this is soluble salt, we use insoluble salt to prepare. So the insoluble is COH. So, but something insoluble, how do you make it dissolve in water? Which is what I told you just now. You need the acid Why? Because acid can react with four different things: metal, metal carbonate, metal oxide, and metal hydroxide. So this is the special method that um we need copper, you see copper, copper to carbonate, copper to oxide, and copper to hydroxide. Okay, so all this is insoluble. How do you make something insoluble dissolve to form solution? You need acid to dissolve it. So who is the acid? HNO3. Because why HNO3? Because I want to prepare copper 2 nitrate. Of course, my acid need to have NO3. Yeah, so this is the concept. Then, exam time, try not to choose metal like this because for this metal is insoluble. I mean, it don't have any reaction. Okay, try not to use this. The reason because you quite high chance to kena this trap. Try not to use the metal method because you see for the reactivity series kalau nak kawin electrochemical series mesti ada zinc flexible supaya perempuan hasil cukup anak. So H plus which the acid they are above the copper and silver. So technically, if you put copper, silver, gold into acid, they have no reaction because they are very stable. They won't react with the acid. Okay, so for this method, I'll give you all these four. But at the same time, if possible, you try to choose carbonate and oxide is the better option, more safe. Got more safe option. So now I give you an idea how do we conduct this experiment. So the idea is very simple. Okay, let's say example, I choose the third one as example. Okay, third one as example. I explain to you the steps. Quite simple. Okay, so to prepare the chemical, we will need nitric acid plus copper 2 oxide. Okay, copper 2 oxide. Okay, so the first steps I see what am I writing here. The first steps, I write pour 20 CNQ or 2 mole per DNQ of nitric acid into a beaker. So you can write 50. Okay, you can write 100, doesn't matter. 100, 1 mole per DNQ also okay. So this number, you just can just draft a number. As long as within the range, then okay. Then you start to heat the acid using medium fire, all that. Because, like example, have you ever tried to add milk powder into water or not? If you add milk powder into water, you realize that it's very hard to dissolve if the water is cold because the reaction very slow. So in order to make the milk powder to dissolve faster, you have to use warm water. Even best, you can use hot water. Then it can dissolve very, very fast. So same, you need to, in order to make this thing dissolve into the acid faster, we need to heat the acid a little bit. Okay, not until boiling acid, just heat until medium fire. Okay, then start to add in the copper 2 oxide powder. So when you add this into copper 2 oxide powder, add into the nitric acid, right? At the end, right, you will get copper 2 nitrate. Okay, but we have one problem here, which is this is soluble. This is soluble. Copper 2 nitrate is soluble. So if I add like this, right, inside your water, it might have an extra nitric acid. So technically, you will have CuNO3, which is the product. Originally, we have this nitric acid. Originally, we have this nitric acid. So if I got unreacted nitric acid, means still got some nitric acid inside. Then When they extract the salt, it's not pure because inside got two salt. I mean, not two salt. One is salt, one is acid. So it means inside got CnO3, also get HNO3. It's just like you have Ribena and orange juice in the same cup. You weren't able to get out the Ribena because whenever you get out the Ribena, it sure mix with some orange juice. So these two are both soluble thing. They mix together, you cannot separate. So how to make these things separate? You will put excess this thing. Now, why I put excess this thing? So when you put excess this copper 2 oxide, the acids will fully reacted. What it means fully reacted, I give you a story. Let's say I got a ton of acid. I throw a chicken into the acid. You see the chicken corrode until left the bone. Then you cannot go into this acid because it's still dangerous. So I will throw another chicken, the second chicken, third chicken, fourth chicken, until the fifth chicken, right? The chicken halfway, right? Suddenly stop. Still got half chicken left, but no more corrosion. This is the time that all the acid is completely red. This is what I do. I will throw this copper 2 oxide inside until it no longer dissolve. We call them excess. So when excess means what? The acid complete dissolve already. Means in this water, in this solution, it don't have any more nitric acid. But of course, it will have excess copper 2 oxide. But I no worry about copper 2 oxide. You know why? No? If I got excess copper 2 oxide, because copper 2 oxide is something insoluble. Man. Something insoluble means you just need to filter. After you filter, you get a pure copper 2 nitrate. You get a copper 2 nitrate, pure copper 2 nitrate. So you can see, after the next step, unreacted copper 2 oxide is removed by filtration. I've said remove it, no more. Okay, no more. I will get a pure copper 2 nitrate. Okay, but the problem is, now what I want is copper 2 nitrate, but my copper 2 nitrate is dissolved in water. So how do I take out the copper 2 nitrate? You have to go through these 5 steps. Heat, cool, filter, rinse, and dry. So how to memorize this? You write down the step first. Heat is heat, cool, filter, rinse, and dry. So you write this off. Heat stands for hippo can fly really dangerous. And now I teach you a question that quite high chance coming out in the midterm. But this question is a bit tough, so need to build these two knowledge. Then after that, you try the question twice, then should be all right. You understand the concept. So what I need to heat up first, you need to heat in the evaporating dish. They require to write very detailed. The evaporating dish means what? Example, let's say this is my copper 2 nitrate. Now they are in the water. Okay, this is soluble salt is in the water. So how do we take it out? First, heat until 1/3. 1/3 means the water is so much until 1/3, until very little water. So when become very little water, it's very concentrated. We call saturated. Saturated means it's the maximum. The concentration becomes the highest. Okay, then after that, let him cool down. So when it cool down, right, it will start to come out some solid. Okay, it will come out crystal. Then the next step, filter. Why I need to filter? Because I want the crystal. Then once the salt become crystal already, we can filter. Then you scat your copper nitrate. Then you rinse a bit because it's soluble salt. Don't rinse too much. Then dry it. You get a pure copper 2 nitrate. So this is the concept of this thing. I don't do the question. Not Amali. It won't come out in Amali, but it will come out in your paper 2 discrete experiment. Discrete experiment. So now we try one question. I show you this question. I show you this. Because we only have 2 hours. So I don't want to write because if write, we cannot. But I would write the one that higher chance come out, means which combination of soluble and insoluble salt. Okay, so we look at this question. We use just refer to this question. You understand. Saturated means very concentrate, the highest concentration that you cannot dissolve any extra salt anymore. Means the highest, the maximum. So, okay, example. Let's say exam ask you, they want to come up, ask you about how to prepare zinc sulfate. So far we know zinc sulfate is soluble. How do you know sulfate is soluble? Sulfate is all soluble except persatuan bahasa Cina. Okay, except persatuan bahasa Cina. So zinc sulfate is something soluble. Okay, as I told you, soluble, you need to use insoluble to prepare. So who is the insoluble? Which is the COH plus the H plus to dissolve it. So what you need? First, you need a sulfuric acid. Okay. Plus, on the other side, any insoluble salt. Try not to use zinc, try to use zinc oxide or zinc carbonate. Okay, so after that, you see, this is the solution. This is a solid. Okay, at the end, you get your zinc sulfate. Okay, so the step is simple one. The first step, you have to pour this nitric acid as a hydrochloric acid. So you can write 50 CNQ 0.5, any number. But I'll try to write one or two bigger number of sulfuric acid. It's measured using measuring cylinder and pour into a beaker. So I get a beaker here. Then heat the acid slowly because you need to make it faster dissolve. Heat the acid slowly. Then using a spatula, zinc oxide powder is added bit by bit to the heated acid while stir with glass straw until the powder cannot dissolve anymore. It means that I want to add my zinc oxide to excess. Because cannot dissolve anymore is excess. Why excess? To make sure there's no more acid. Add the chicken until no more pss, means no more acid. No more acid. Okay? Because why no more acid? Because this and this both soluble cannot separate. I have to eliminate the orange juice first so that I can take out my Ribena. So I don't want any orange juice in my Ribena. If not, later it's very hard to take out. So after you add until excess, no more acid, how do you take out this excess thing? You remove by filter. Because after filter, the insoluble solid can be removed easily. Okay, now finish it. I get this zinc sulfate solution. How do you take out this zinc sulfate solution? Because the zinc sulfate is in the water, so it's like your salt in the water. How do you take it out? First, you need to heat first. So the water evaporated until very little water left. Then cool down, because very little water left. When it cool down, you see this zinc sulfate, you'll start to form solid out, start to become crystal. Then you filter, rinse with a little distilled water, dry it, you'll get this chemical. Yeah, so this is the method to prepare a soluble salt. Any question for this? If not much, then we'll try a real question. This real question is the one that coming out a lot last year in state paper. I need to mention, this one you try to mention in detail. This one women cannot skip. You write 1/3 or until saturated also okay, but if possible, write all because school teachers start chemistry teacher mark very strict recently. Quite a lot of those as SB marker they mark very strict. So try to write. Okay. So we refer back to this question 17, page 17. Okay, this question is very tough. I'm going to do twice. Okay. So this is the first one. We're going to do another one after this to make sure you're okay. Because this one, many state people came out this one last year. So you might get very similar question. Okay, so we'll use the space above. Okay, so for this question, right, what they want is they want to prepare the zinc sulfate. Okay, but it restrict your chemical needed. that you have sulfuric acid, you have zinc nitrate, you have sodium carbonate. You have these three chemical. So you need to use these three chemical to get your zinc sulfate. Okay, so now you can write above. I'm not going to do the question at the middle. In order to prepare zinc sulfate, this is the question student worry about lah. Also, that teacher, I'm very scared to prepare salt. So now I do this one. This is the one of the high chance question coming out. This coming exam. Okay, I want to prepare zinc sulfate. Okay, zinc sulfate is something soluble. So if I want to prepare something soluble, I will need to use insoluble. So remember, insoluble is COH, and then this one, HCOH. So the first chemical needed will be H2SO4. This one, the first chemical needed will be the H2SO4 plus the zinc oxide, zinc carbonate. Because I can foresee that I'm going to be able to get a carbonate. Okay, so you will get your zinc sulfate plus H2O CO2. Okay, so this is what I need. Okay, but if you refer to the chemical, you have sulfuric acid, but I don't have zinc carbonate. I don't have zinc carbonate. So in order, this is a K-Bar question that you need to prepare your own zinc carbonate. You have to centrally prepare your zinc carbonate. So in order to prepare zinc carbonate, it's an insoluble salt. I need to pair with SPAN. Okay, SPAN. So the first one needed is my zinc nitrate plus the second one. You can see we have sodium here. There's sodium. So sodium carbonate. Then you'll get your zinc carbonate plus sodium nitrate. So this is the one I want. Okay, so the idea is this. We have three chemical involved. Chemical 1, chemical 2, chemical 3. Okay, so first step, you take chemical 2 and chemical 3 to get your zinc carbonate. Then take your zinc carbonate here, react with the chemical 1. Okay, so you write the steps up. So you start with the chemical 2, these two first. So, okay, so the first steps, because it's only 7 marks, this one is very short. So we write a draft step. 50 CNQ, 1 mole per DMQ of sodium carbonate and added into 50 CNQ, 1 mole per DMQ of zinc nitrate solution. Write the first steps. We roughly do this question because this one came out a lot in last year state paper. So we do twice. So if it came out in school exam, at least you can answer rather than empty the whole question. If come on a simple one, prepare soluble salt, insoluble salt, the one is better. You can refer to my notes above to do. This one. Then you get your zinc carbonate, right? You filter to get the salt crystal. So the salt crystal is zinc carbonate. The salt crystal is zinc carbonate. You do this one twice to make sure if we came. I think this is the question that most students are worried about. If prepare salt coming out in the exam. So I chosen 2 samples. So hope that these 2 samples your teacher will bring into your exam. Okay, once you get this already, zinc carbonate, so I get my zinc carbonate already. So now I need to prepare my zinc sulfate. So same lah. You need to prepare your, so let's this one finish it, yeah. So these two add together, no more these two. Then I get my zinc carbonate ma. So the next step is you to prepare your sulfuric acid. Zinc carbonate. Yeah, so you get a zinc carbonate. So the next steps, you prepare the acid. You start to prepare the acid. You prepare the sulfuric acid. So once you get this already, the next step is you prepare sulfuric acid. So how to prepare sulfuric acid? Just blah number of 50 cm3, 100 cm3, 1 mole per TNQ of sulfuric acid. It's added into the pickle. This question is, I know it's a bit tough. You'll do twice. So the first question is a bit blur. Second question is you can see the trend or similarity. Then after that, if really SPM came out, will be either this or the other one. Because these two is the one that I chosen from the last year state people. Will be very similar to this. Okay, so zinc carbonate powder is added bit by bit to the heated acid, while stir with glass straw until no longer dissolve. What is no longer dissolve? No longer dissolve means totally the sulfuric acid gone. No more sulfuric acid. And until no more sulfuric acid. Then how do you remove the zinc carbonate? You filter unreacted zinc carbonate is, is removed by filtration. So after filtration, no more zinc carbonate. Then left your pure zinc sulfate solution. You get the concept? I know it's a bit complicated, but this is the one that last year few state people came up. So sulfuric acid. Okay, start with putting zinc nitrate, sodium carbonate. These two to get your zinc carbonate. Once your zinc carbonate ready, add into your sulfuric acid to get your zinc sulfate. But when you add into sulfuric acid, need to add this excess. Excess already no more acid. Filter out all the zinc carbonate, then left your pure zinc sulfate. Pure zinc sulfate. Yeah. Then after zinc sulfate, you get the, I want to take out this salt as a crystal. So you do these 5 steps. I know the answer is a lot. So you look at, oh, teacher, 7 marks, so you just write everything inside because it's an essay. Then to make sure you can get full marks, so go through these 5%. Heat, cool, filter, rinse, and dry. Try to write in proper all steps. Make sure you can get full marks for this. Uh, uh, or maybe your friend gets 0 leh, because they give up. So okay, so at least you got extra 7 marks. Yeah. We'll do one more time this question because this is the one that very high chance school might come up this. I'll do a quick one. You write this one first. Later you write one more time. If really came out, then you feel very happy in the exam. I don't think come out simple one because last year all the state people they actually came out those very complicated one in the exam. Yeah, so you write this one up. You will do twice. You do twice. See which one coming out in the exam. In this one, very high chance, so we'll do twice the question. Okay, to save time, actually you write first to make sure you okay first. Maybe the second one you can screenshot the answer right later lah. You write this one properly first. The second one, once you understand it, then you screenshot. Anyway, you don't need to screenshot also later because end of this seminar, we will post the answer immediately. After today's seminar, we will post this answer immediately in the answer sheet. Then you can download and write one more time. But I just show you the similarity of the question between these two. Then be ready. You might get something like this in the exam. I read one first. You're done already writing? Because if possible, I want to cover a bit of hitting salt, KM test, NLM test. I read first. This one you read lah. Maybe the second one we just discuss. You look at the answer. Then once you understand, no need to write. Then we go to the other topic because we only have 2 hours seminar. Ma. Because last time the seminar is 3 hours, but because 3 hour, for both, right? Student very tired. But 2 hour okay when you can do a short one, then we discuss those important questions enough for your exam. But I want you to write this. The second one, maybe we just discuss and then open up the answer. You understand it. Then we go forward to the heating salt, color of salt, all these things. And CAT test and N test. Okay, huh? So everybody done? Almost done, huh? You read the steps? You roughly write the step one time first. Then after you write the steps today, then the next question, you just read the steps without writing lah. Then you understand it, then done. Okay, so remember this. Okay, maybe the first question a bit blur. You're thinking, teacher, why I need to do so many steps? This is the question that coming up. Okay, so now we move to another similar question from another state paper. Everybody turn to page 38. The last question. Yeah, page 38. It's a very similar question. And they call this salt as Epsom salt. There is 100% magnesium sulfate. Okay, now they want to prepare magnesium sulfate. And same concept. They given you three chemical. They given you three chemical. Okay. So first we need to prepare magnesium sulfate. Okay, we need to check whether magnesium sulfate is soluble or not. So for sulfate is soup, all soluble except persatuan bahasa Cina, not soluble. Okay, persatuan bahasa Cina, not soluble. So this is soluble. Yeah, this is soluble. So if soluble, you have to use insoluble to prepare. Okay, soluble, you use insoluble to prepare. You have to check whether soluble or not. The first time you need to check is soluble or not. Okay, because you cannot terbalik. Okay, so the first chemical needed will be the sulfuric acid. Okay, the second chemical needed, right? You should able to foresee that you're able to get magnesium carbonate. Here, since we can get magnesium carbonate from mixing the two chemical. Okay, so in this case, you get the magnesium sulfate plus water plus carbon dioxide. Okay, so chemical 1, chemical 2, chemical 3. You have chemical 1 here. To produce Epsom salt. So Epsom salt, the given here is 100% magnesium sulfate. You can see very similar question from different state people, two different state people. So means I think one of the prediction coming up. So school teacher, if they refer to the last year state people, then they might chosen this type of question come up. Okay. Now I don't have magnesium carbonate. I have to prepare my own magnesium carbonate. So you know magnesium carbonate is insoluble because carbonate memang insoluble ma. So you need to pair with SPAN. So the first one, magnesium nitrate. We have my magnesium nitrate. As the other side, we have sodium nitrate. Okay, then you get your magnesium, sodium carbonate. Then you get your magnesium carbonate plus your sodium nitrate. This become magnesium carbonate. Yeah. So same concept. You take the second chemical and the third chemical, mix them together to get your magnesium carbonate. Bring your magnesium carbonate here, react with the first chemical, sulfuric acid, you'll get a magnesium sulfate. So this one you need to know. So if really SPN came out, your SPN came out, the midterm exam come out, this question, at least you know how to answer. But same, this one got 8 marks, more marks, because they want equation. They want chemical equation. So what is the first steps? Now, this one no need to write. You just have a look. It's a single concept. Started with these two. So you take magnesium. Yeah, it's the same concept. That my answer also copy and paste one. Because you see here, magnesium carbonate, you can see magnesium carbonate in the future. If you mix these two, you get magnesium carbonate. So you see now I put the sodium carbonate and then magnesium carbonate. Here I blah number 50, 100, then one more per here. But you remember exam you have to write 50.0 cmq. 0.0, you have to write the 0.0. Okay, then 1.0. Because certain teacher very strict in marking scheme, you have to write 0.0, 0.10 like this. Okay, then these two mixed together. Then same up, stir with glass straw, filter, then you'll get your magnesium carbonate. Okay, get your magnesium carbonate. Okay, get your MgCO2. Same concept with just now. So add this and this inside, stir with glass straw, filter to get a crystal. Then you get magnesium carbonate. The next step, bring the magnesium carbonate to the second process. Then put acid. So how to put acid? Add 50 of the acid. Okay, 50 of the acid. Heat the acid. And then the magnesium carbonate is added bit by bit to the heated acid, stir with glass straw until no longer dissolve. Means add this one excess here. So when add excess, right, no more acids. Then how do you remove the magnesium carbonate? You filter. Filter. Once you filter already, bring this thing down. Okay, once you filter already, no more sulfuric acid, no more carbonate. You get your magnesium sulfate, Then you do the last process: heat, cool, filter, rinse, and dry to take out this magnesium sulfate, which is soluble in water. Okay, so you can screenshot this answer, or maybe you can download the answer for all the this part. So everybody okay with that? Roughly have the idea if really this similar question or exactly same question coming out in your midterm, you okay with how to answer this? I don't do the simple one because last year no state people came out simple one. They all came out this complicated one, which is soluble and insoluble combined together. Okay, so roughly have the idea. So once you're okay, then we'll do a bit of the heating salt. Okay, we do a bit of heating salt. Okay, so for heating salt, right? Heating salt is a very simple one. Can we turn to page 10 and up? Turn to page 10. Okay, for heating salt, the most important for heating salt is you need to memorize the color of chemical. You need to memorize the color of chemical. So now I will go through the color. Then this is a free mark. Heating salt is quite simple. Heating salt is quite simple. Okay, so we start with this one. Um, most of the salt we learn are white color. Okay, most of the salt we learn is white color. Anything with iron 2 will be green. Iron 2 carbonate, iron 2 chloride, iron 2 sulfate, iron 2 nitrate, iron 2 hydroxide, iron 2 oxide is all green color. Okay. Any chemical with iron 3 automatic will be brown. No matter it's iron 3 carbonate, chloride, sulfate, nitrate, oxide, hydroxide is all brown color. So this one is quite simple. Okay, the one that frequent come out is copper. Okay, copper is very popular because it changed color. That most of the copper, they are blue color. Copper 2 sulfate, copper 2 nitrate, copper 2 hydroxide is all blue. Except copper 2 oxide is black and copper 2 carbonate is green. This is the one that keep coming out. Copper 2 carbonate is green, copper 2 oxide is black. Okay, so later we'll try all the question there. Then, okay, for here, those special color chemical. PbO and ZnO, very special because they have different color when hot and cold. So how to memorize it like this? PbO, look at the P, stand for peanut. Okay, peanut. So for peanut, right, you eat the nasi lemak peanut, outside is brown color, the skin. You open inside is yellow. So brown and yellow is the peanut. Then ZnO, you can think about banana. So banana is outside yellow, inside white. Okay, so zinc oxide is yellow when hot, white when cold. Okay, for the color, if you in the exam, say you forgotten which is hot, which is cold, very simple one. The darker color is hot. Darker color is hot. So if let me find brown color first. Brown color is darker than yellow. Okay, yellow is darker than white. Now white is like totally colorless, right? White color, very, very, very not darker color. Darker color is yellow. So you can see white turn to yellow, yellow go to brown. Okay, then these two also very special, coming out frequent in exam. These two they can dissolve in hot water only. Means what? Let's say if I got a test tube, one inside got PbCl, one inside got PbI2. What happened is, uh, if cold, right, you will see white color precipitate, yellow color precipitate. Okay, you'll see these two when cold. But when hot, right, when you heat the water, these two precipitate, it will dissolve. It will dissolve because it's soluble in hot water. But when the solution cool down back to room temperature, you realize that these two solid, it will reappear back because they cannot dissolve in cold water, but they can dissolve in water. So this is something special. Anything something special, school exam and SPM frequent come up. Okay, so this is the color part. So if you roughly understand this color part already, I will choose one question to do with you. Let me find the question. Then we will practice all the different questions here. Mm, okay, in this case, I will do this one. Page 24. Yeah, page 24. Okay, for heating salt, quite simple. I'll go through the heating salt because as I say, heating salt is very simple. Okay, so now they're hitting PB nitrate. They're hitting PB nitrate now. So every time in SPM or your school exam, whenever they hit, right, it actually always come out metal oxide. It means what? PB nitrate hit already become PBO. Zinc nitrate come out ZNO. Magnesium nitrate come out magnesium oxide. Always come out oxide. Okay. Then NO2, NO3 nitrate, right? You'll come out NO2 gas and O2 gas. So which one is brown color gas? One is a normal gas. Yeah. So what is the function of the glowing wooden splinter is to test the oxygen gas. Then the brown color gas that release is NO2. It's a very simple question. Hitting salt quite okay. So don't worry. Oh, the only one, the hardest question, which is the prepare salt, we done already now. So now we will try this one, the simple one, to make sure you can score. Because essay, it won't come out 20 marks prepare salt. You mix with some heating salt, then standard solution, all this. So you try to cover all this question before 12 o'clock. So the chemical equation you can write in. The calculation, yeah, I can do a bit of calculation. So now they say that if they have 331 of the lead 2 nitrate, so you need to find number of mass or molar mass. So 33.1 divide by PbNO3. So PbNO3, so Pb is 207, then NO3 is 14 plus 3 times 16, then bracket 2. Now this one, okay, right? Heating salt, very simple one. So we'll do a few questions until you feel confident, and then we'll do a bit of the standard solution because last year also a lot of standard solution come out in exam. Then you'll get 0.1 mole. It's a very simple question. Okay, same thing. Here I also teach the what we call the cat ion test. Okay, quite popular cat ion test. So for the cat ion test, they also came out a lot of the positive ion, PB. Okay, how do you confirm inside a solution we have PB 2 plus? Okay, so very popular question also this one. So what you need to do is you add in KI. Okay, why? Because PB and I2 will become yellow precipitate. Okay, so the PB and I2 will come out in yellow precipitate. So the PB in the water, red with the iodide, you get PbI2. So very popular for the cat ion test will be copper, C2 plus always come in exam. Then PB also very popular, the one that frequent come out in SPN exam. So you tell me, teacher, a lot of cat ion tests I need to memorize. Now we start to memorize those popular one only. First, we go through all the popular one. So if your coming May exam came out like CU, you know how to answer it, how to test CU, add ammonia, a few drop until SS. Then you get blue precipitate. And then then the blue precipitate dissolve in SS ammonia, come out your dark blue solution. Then how to test PB? Very simple. Add a bit. What is the bit? 2.0 cm of Ki into the test tube, which inside got so then I had to cite in the test, no, cannot. Not accepted. Because PB and hydroxide, right, you come out the insoluble salt. But this insoluble salt is white color. So white color can be other thing, because magnesium also come out white color salt. Then after that, the calcium, aluminum all has same, all come out white color. So you can't confirm the one is PB. So the only way to confirm he is PB is put Ki, because only PB will react iodide to form yellow precipitate. And if you want to further test this yellow precipitate, you can heat. Because so remember I told you before, PbCl, PbI cannot dissolve in cold water, but if you heat, it dissolves. So if you ask for further test, you just heat this mixture, you realize that the yellow precipitate dissolve when hot, then reappear when cold. You reappear when cold. Yeah, so we done the CAM test for CO2 plus and PBR. These two very popular in exam. These two very popular in exam because very special. One is the yellow precipitate, very special. One is this is the yellow precipitate. This is the what is that blue precipitate, and then dark blue solution. These two is the one. Okay, then is there another question? Aman stunned by is the warts on his hand. Then the warts thing is alkaline. Which acid should be chosen to neutralize the alkaline? Of course, ethanoic acid. Because ethanoic acid is a weak acid, it is less corrosive. So it won't like can treat the warts but corrode your skin. So ethanoic acid is the safer acid to put on your hand. Now just do a few questions. Then the KM test, NM test, then we look at the question. If the question got it's very all the popular question. Okay, so the B acid strong setting is quite already. Yeah, right, yeah. Okay, we'll try another question, another similar question. But this time I want to do essay a bit because quite high chance your midterm, your essay is the can I write dilute hydrochloric acid? Then what is the reason you want to write? You should write dilute hydrochloric acid. But because he got mentioned without causing further injured or further injury means what? Because if you put extra hydrochloric acid, hydrochloric acid is corrosive, so it might corrode your left hand, so further injured. So in this one, based on the marking scheme, they don't accept hydrochloric acid. Must be ethanoic acid. Yeah. Then after that, we will go through. I need to choose those weird questions for you to try. Sure. I do one more hitting sort first. Because as I say, this one very important. Page 35. This essay I want to do because I worry if we came out quite a lot of marks. Quite a lot of marks, 10 marks. Okay. So we cover a bit first. This essay, state paper came out many years, but SPM not yet. Just wait which year. So if this year SPM chosen chapter 6 to come out, I say this is one of the potential question. Very simple one. So they will say that you are given two unlabeled sample of white solid that contain zinc nitrate and lead 2 carbonate. Those two salt can be identified through heating salt. Explain the difference between these two salt in terms of what they want. They want observation, confirmation test, and name of the gas released. Okay, it's a very simple question. It came out, you get very high marks. So the question here is, you're going to heat these two chemical. You need to tell me the similarity and differences. Okay, so far we know that heating salt, if heat the zinc nitrate, it will come out zinc oxide plus the NO2 plus the O2. So same thing to your PbCO3, heat it also come out Pb oxide. Always heat a salt, always come out oxide one. Okay, Zn will come as Zn oxide, then Pb will come out Pb oxide. But this one is don't have NO2 because CO2 inside got carbon dioxide gas. So the first answer you have me do it now. For carbon dioxide gas is a colorless gas, oxygen is a colorless gas, and my bromine is a brown color gas. So this is the main difference. Then you see the observation. This is what you see. Then confirmation test. You need to do something to confirm this gas. How to confirm? For the oxygen gas, use the glowing wooden spindle, it will rekindle. For nitrogen dioxide gas, nitrogen dioxide gas actually is an acidic gas. So you can test with the litmus paper, then you'll turn red color. And then another very obvious one because it's brown color. So whenever you see brown color gas, it's quite confirmed it's nitrogen dioxide gas. Then the second test, you can add in the litmus paper. Once it turns red, can confirm it's NO2. Yeah, you just go through this one once, okay? Then for the observation, um, as I told you just now, zinc oxide is the banana, ma. So you see yellow when hot, white when cold. PbO is the peanut, brown when hot, yellow when cold. This is the one of the popular question that you need to know. Not very tough. Quite okay, man. Then I'll choose few questions to do with you. Which very popular exam. And so I mix around the question now. See how much we can complete before 12 o'clock. The next topic I want to cover is the standard solution. Last year also, don't know why a lot of state people came out a lot of standard solution question. Now you're done already? Okay, so once you're done, you try to do a bit of standard solution question now. Yeah, you post the you post into the recorder will be inside. Yeah, yeah, done already. So once you're done already, right? We'll move on to the some question that came out last year in state paper. We go through all these questions first, just in case. Standard solution came out a lot last year. Don't know why. So let's go to page 25. This is a quick one. Page 25. First, go through a bit. So what is the strong acid? Okay, strong acid. So it's a chemical substance that ionizes completely in water to produce high concentration of hydrogen ion. So you remember, in your exam, right, you need to memorize who is strong acid, who is weak acid. Okay, which the first list of strong acid we have three: HCl, HNO3, and H2SO4. Okay, so this is the strong acid. Okay, for the weak acid, you need to memorize only one. Okay, one weak acid you are required to memorize, which is your ethanoic acid. Yeah, ethanoic acid. Okay, so in this case, right, this is a very simple question that they give you both same concentration, but one is pH 2, which is lower, and one is pH 5, which is higher. Yeah, a simple question now. So this is what you need to mention. For the pH 2, because pH very low, should be a strong acid. Then for the pH 5 is a weak acid. So you need to mention. So for strong acid, ionize completely, produce high concentration of hydrogen ion. So the higher the concentration of hydrogen ion, the lower the pH. This one is pH 2. Yeah, this is a very simple one. So don't worry about chapter 6 that, teacher, we came out essay and confirm die. No, 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 no. It's not the whole 20 marks very tough one. Maybe the last 7 marks, which is the prepare sort, is very tough. But the other 30 marks you can score. They might come out something like this that strong acid, weak acid, at this. I just want for you to score. You get 1 mark here. You get 6 marks here. But you need to give an example lah. So hydrochloric acid, nitric acid. Here they don't accept too much on the sulfuric acid because sulfuric accepted lah, but try to give nitric acid and hydrochloric acid because this is monoprotic acid. But sulfuric acid is actually very strong because it's diprotic acid produce 2H plus. So the pH should not be 2, should be like 1. Next, you see Amali. Oh, Amali one, your blur book, right? I got put in all the different experiment. So for the school Amali, you just I got put in all the Amali potential question, but you just study all the Amali, just read through the experiment. No? School Amali very hard to guess. But if you really the popular one, okay, the popular one, um, chapter 1, Form 5 chapter 1, popular one is 我带笑. Come on, Form 4, okay, chapter 1 is 我带笑. 我带笑 is a very popular one. What else? Chapter 4, 我带笑. I think it's the one only. Then if Form 4 na, let me check. Chapter 2 don't have. Chapter 3. Chapter 4, dangerous explosion cannot. Chapter 5. Chapter 5 is the electric conductivity. Electric conductivity is the you have covalent bond, ionic bond, then they'll put in check whether can conduct electric or not. Then second one is solubility. Solubility means like covalent are not soluble water soluble in organic solvent, and ionic soluble in organics, soluble in water, not soluble in organic. This one came out last year SPM. So teacher might use the same thing. In Form 5, Chapter 5, right, the popular one is the heat of neutralization. You put acid and alkali, then you mix them together, then you get a temperature. Use that to calculate the heat of neutralization. Heat neutralization. Or inside, I put inside the blue book folder, paper three for you to read through. Okay, you come up with a very simple experiment. Those experiments are chosen for you already for the paper three one. Yeah, you're done this. If not, you're done this, please screenshot because we left 12 minutes only. I want to cover more questions. Okay, then here, now you can see here heating zinc carbonate. Okay, you'll come out zinc oxide plus carbon dioxide. Okay, so what is the observation? First, you must know zinc oxide. Zinc oxide is yellow when hot, white when cold. Then the carbon dioxide gas actually turn the light water cloudy. You can see very simple one. 20 marks question, quite simple one. Yeah, so this is the one. I would want to do this question because behind got one special question that I want to share with you. This is a it's all connected one. We have got one special question that very similar to it's a what we call a daily life question. The daily life question. Okay, so you have two questions. Okay, so one is lemonade that inside got citric acid. In both also got citric acid. Okay, so now they ask you about predict the electric conductivity. Okay, so you can write lah. SPN 2024. Okay, SPN 2024 the essay, right? We got question 9 essay and question 10 essay. So question 9 essay is a rate of reaction. No? This is the easy essay. Then the other one came out is the voltaic cell, electrolytic cell. This one hard. So normally, when examiner design question, optional essay, the one will come out very easy one. Then you must answer. The other one is very tough, right? Normally, they don't expect student to answer because they're expecting you to answer number 9. Unless your rate of reaction tak boleh lah, then you need to answer question 10. So same one, but school and design question, they both will be tough question. Okay, so this is the one now. You need to plan an investigation that the drink contain acid. You need to prove inside it has acid. Okay, so the first step you want me to write down. It's a suitable chemical because acid, right? Just like I told you, it can write metal carbonate, metal oxide, and metal hydroxide. So to test him, we will take these two. The reason why is because we just simply take an acid. Okay, let's say take a HCl. If they write metal, it will come out magnesium chloride plus hydrogen gas. The main thing is the hydrogen gas. You can test with burning ruins splinter, you get a pop sound. Okay, so it's proven it's acid. Then let's say instead of putting this one, you can put calcium carbonate. So for calcium carbonate, you'll come up calcium chloride and water. The main thing is it came out carbon dioxide gas. So for carbon dioxide gas, you just take a lime water, you turn cloudy. But it might come out in the real reaction that they will ask you Pepsi and Coca-Cola, which one um more acidic? Then you can pour in the 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 metal powder. You see which one come out more bubble. That will be the more acidic. Okay, then put half spatula of the magnesium carbonate inside. Magnesium powder. Your observation, you'll come out colorless gas bubble form. Magnesium, zinc, lor. These two is the best. Try not to use the rest because if you choose potassium, sodium, calcium, these three okay, but normally they don't accept in SPM because maybe when you do the structural question, not accepted because very dangerous, man. But objective, you need it's possible one. If they ask which of the following metal does not react with the acid, then all this can react. It's just dangerous only. Still can react, but dangerous. Try not to choose this off. Kan on the Gawin, then mesti ada zinc. Normally you choose magnesium and zinc. We don't like aluminium because aluminium the equation more complicated because it's 3 plus. I don't use magnesium and zinc. The marking system standardized in these two. Sometimes aluminium inside, but aluminium will need to write the equation slightly harder to balance. I do those all the special question with you. Hey, remember the rest of the question, please try to do because all these question right actually from last year paper. So your school teacher might chosen them to put inside your exam. So if you're lucky enough, you might get exactly same question in your school exam. If you're lucky enough, lah. It depends because we are different school, now. Some teacher chosen this question, some teacher chosen the other question. But behind one okay. So to prove it is acid, it is alkaline. You do more. I want to do a bit of standard solution last year. Don't know why a lot of school, a lot of the state came out standard solution. Uh, Standard solution. Let me choose one question to do. Which one is the best? What are the two questions? What the time to do? Yeah, we can consider okay. So you try this one. Page 18. So you're done already. If you're not done, can you screenshot? Yeah, so we do one more question. Find page 18, I think. That's quite a good question. Page 18. Yeah, so you start with this one. Don't need screenshot. Later, end of the lesson, you can download the answer. You can download the answer. Don't worry about the answer. Just discuss. Like the answer will be Yeah, don't really, you can download the answer. With the question also, you can read through. Okay, so it's a reaction between an acid and alkaline or base to produce a salt and water only. Okay, then after that, the toothpaste inside got base, which is calcium hydroxide. Then he'll neutralize the lactic acid produced by the bacteria. I want to complete this question. This one is also a new question. It's also a new question. Hope they're coming out in the exam. The best is exactly same question. Then you answer once already, then you feel easy. So in toothpaste, we have calcium hydroxide, which is basic. Then after that, our mouth bacterial come out acid to corrode our tooth. So the base will actually neutralize the acid. Yeah. Then after that, okay, this is the question they want to cover. For the standard solution now, normally you come up calculation. Okay, so what I want to prepare is I want to prepare this. So that is it. Okay, so you need to know how to do the calculation now. So this is my M, this is my V. Okay, so now you put in the MVO. It's a very simple calculation, 4 marks calculation. So it's okay one. This marks is quite easy one. Okay, so MVO 1000. So 0.5 times 100 divided by 1000. I'll get 0.05 mole. Then what they want is they want mass. Then you put in your number, which is 0.05 mole. Then Na is 23, O is 16, then H is 1. Yeah, H is 1. You get the number, 2 gram. So this one quite okay one. But this calculation only worth 2 marks because you calculate how many mole based on the NVO 1000, then you convert it into gram. So in order to prepare this chemical, you have to measure 2 gram of chemical, then add into 100 cm³ of the water. Okay. Then this question very special. It produce, he take this solution, the whole solution, this whole solution, they dilute it to produce a new solution with the concentration which is 0.1 mole. Then they ask you how much distilled water need to be added. So in this case, means my original, I have 0.5 mole per dm³, 100 cm³. Okay, then I further dilute it to be 0.1 mole per dm³. Okay, so in this case, you are required to find out how much is it. So at the end, you're able to calculate, you will become 500 cm³ because it's diluted 5 times lesser one. So it becomes 500. So it means you have to plus 400 water inside. I want to cover this question because this question is one of the very special questions. If you worry about ion test and ion test, because a lot of students say, teacher, there are so many tests I need to memorize. Yeah, so I teach you how to do the test for CU, right? Then PB, here got two more. I want you to know. There are two more tests that came out last year that you need to memorize the tests. One of them is the how to prepare test the SO4. Then one more is how to test the ammonium. Okay, so these two I want you to know. This one maybe you can I just discuss, then you screenshot, then you write later. Yeah, because then you need to have enough rest. If not, later the afternoon physics is very tired. Okay, so your screenshot this one. Don't worry, the answer is available today. Means end of the seminar, you post the answer. Then after that, you can copy from there. Okay. So if you worry about the test, I show you here. This is the next page. Now, this is a tin mine. So the water from tin mine smells pungent and not safe to drink because it contains heavy metal. So from here, they want you to do a test. Do a test to know which heavy metal inside. So you can see here, we have three chemicals inside. We have this, we have ammonium, we have sulfate. Okay, so to test PB, to test PB, you can see just like I say with you. I just discussion name. You put the mine water inside, you put Ki, you get yellow precipitate. This is what we do just now. Okay. To test the SO4. Okay, to test the SO4. So SO4, we know that SO4 is all soluble except persatuan bahasa Cina. Okay, persatuan bahasa Cina. So what you need to do is you pour in barium. These are if in this test tube you have SO4 inside, all you need to do is you pour in barium. Because barium meet with SO4, it become insoluble salt. So here you see the answer. They will put in acid first, followed by barium. You'll get white precipitate because the BSO4 is insoluble. So if you test sulfate, so if they test ammonium is a very rare one. But if you really came out, you need to know the answer. Ammonium, how do you test? You can add a few drop of Nestler reagent. Nestler reagent. This Nestler reagent, right, you get a brown precipitate. How do I teach my students? Very simple one. Nestler is the brother of Nestle. Nestle come out Milo. Then Milo is brown color. Yeah, so this is the three described experiment came out last year. So just in case it really came out exactly same question, you roughly know how to answer that. So remember for sulfate, you pour in the barium. Because barium meet with sulfate become insoluble salt. Then for the ammonium, you can put in this Nestler reagent. It's a special test. Add in a few drop reagent, then you'll get a brown precipitate. So proven that it's got ammonium. Okay, so good. So today I did here. The rest of the answer we'll post it in the website for you. Then you can download it. Okay. So if anything you do, if you need more revision for other chapter, you can go to my channel. My channel, you just type YouTube, then type U10 chemistry. Then there's inside a lot of video for you to run through for revise for this coming exam. Okay, so good luck for your coming May exam. Bye bye.